Hey everyone, it's Locan. Kronos, Roly, and I are back to talk about the latest chapter of My Hero Academia. Join the discussion by leaving a comment and let us know what your take would be. Spoiler warning, this video will cover chapter 317 of My Hero Academia. If you enjoy these videos, please help support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing to Texas Smash. Hit the bell icon and turn on notifications so that you can be sure to catch us every time a new chapter is released. Let's nerd out together. This week's chapter starts out with an awesome panel of Deku with a look of determination in his eyes. We then jump to a warehouse where the previous pro heroes from the explosion of the mansion are together and Hawks has joined them, though Deku is not with them and neither is All Might. They briefly discuss Lady Nagant and we get another lovely view of Mount Lady. We then get a panel of Death Arms and him sadly admitting that due to all of the negative comments, he isn't cut out to be a hero. Though it is also revealed that he's not the only pro hero that is retiring, and it's revealed that information is getting leaked to the media through the words of the retired heroes about One for All. There's then a long discussion between the top heroes as to what would happen if the public found out about the true nature of One for All and the connection to Deku. We end the first half with Hawks receiving a text from All Might informing him that Midoriya has made contact with a second assassin.
First thing I want to call out is the cover page looks cool.
It does. His entire costume is just getting mangled.
Yeah. What I was looking up, the caption on this page where it says "with those eyes look into the future," I couldn't quite remember what Horikoshi said, and that's what I was looking up. So, All Might, his eyes are mostly black with a little blue. And Horikoshi said he designed him that way to show, it was kind of symbolism to show the darkness of society, but All Might is the light, the hope. That's why it's mostly black, but you see his small pupils. So I think that could be relevant for this chapter if we kind of keep a close eye on Deku's eyes, when we can't see his pupils. I don't know if that has any relevance, but it's possible.
Okay.
Because there's a few here where you can see the pupil and a few panels where you can't. So I don't know if that has any meaning if we're looking too far into it. But I know Horikoshi designed All Might's eyes that way for that reason. So
I think that's something good to point out.
Yeah.
Definitely we'll keep an eye out on for it.
Yeah.
Not only with the cover, also just the title, Scars, Blood, and Mud. Like that's a pretty,
title.
I like this title. I was like, damn, all right. I mean, things have been rough and harsh, so that goes right along with it.
Surely these are just the relevant heroes still standing. Yes, there's other heroes. They just kind of make it seem like they're all that's left. And I know they're the relevant people that are left. I mean, like, Mirko's still a hero, right? If she just has a missing arm, doesn't mean she can't fight.
I think they just have all the other heroes outside of these few just tucked away to the side. Like, okay, we'll call you when we need y'all.
And I also feel like these heroes are the ones that are assigned and focused on All for One. Yeah, these are the main guys to deal with him. I don't think we would, like Cementos and all them, even the other top pro heroes, I'm sure they're still just focused on society and keeping that at least under control the best that they can outside of All for One.
I do wonder which other heroes that we have seen, prominently have also quit. It really makes me wonder who else is gone.
Surely not Cementos. He's big time. But yeah, you're right, Loken, because it does say, I should have just read it more thoroughly, because it says we should band together all the remaining heroes. So obviously there are other heroes. It's not like this is all that's left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would be shocked if Cementos retired. That would really get me.
I mean, there's just no way.
I can't see it. No. Yeah, I can't see it with him, but I do wonder who else has, just hung up their cape, so to speak.
And if you remember the armored hero that we never really, or the equipped hero, whatever you want to call him, he was a top 10 hero. He was like the only one we never really got to see much of. And then our first time really seeing him is him retiring. So it's not just like the scrub heroes retiring. We lost a top 10 hero to retirement recently. So it's not just no knock on Death Arms, but
Yeah. I wonder what Gang Orca is up to. Haven't seen him in a minute.
well, I mean, a lot of Death Arms monologue about I struggled and struggled without a moment's rest, and all I got in return was endless criticism and doubt. You'd feel like Gang Orca would get that even worse than Death Arms, right? Being the hero that looks most like a villain, he's a mutant. The way society is, and my hero, yeah,
Yeah.
Gang Orca would not surprise me if he is already retired.
It would for me because he is almost already an outcast. It's not like you said, people already thought of him as more of a villain looking type hero. So yeah, he might have been liked to an extent, but it was almost like he was infamous, even though he was a really great hero. So I feel like he's used to it. He's used to people dogging on him and putting him down with because of the way he's always been perceived.
I like that.
Plus, he's got some thick skin, I'm sure.
Yeah,
He-
I mean, we don't know.
He's a whale. He's gotta have,
Thick
trying to
skin.
make a joke. Yeah, gosh. Wow, fail. Whatever.
I got the joke. I got the joke.
Okay, thank you, Rolly. At least, yeah.
I was about to try to back that up with blubber, but I'm trying to picture like, wait, does he have blubber? Because I know that most orcas.
But I could see that him being a hero, because him being a hero was his one saving grace, right? Like, yeah, he's infamous. He looks like a villain, but he's a hero. So that's his saving grace. And now that's been taken away from him. So don't want to spend too much time talking about King Orca. It's a hypothetical, but I
Right.
could see it going the other way where it's like, hey, the one thing I had good in my life that people respected of me, now no one even respects that anymore. So why try, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it is sad to see a lot of them losing hope.
Yeah. It really is.
That would be a fun conversation. Maybe outside of the chapter review, we should just go through and all the mid-tier heroes. Just guess right
Just
now. You think
guess if they're still around or not.
actively retired? Yeah.
Right.
That would be fun.
Last one. What about Pussycat Dolls?
I'm sure they're still around. They seem to be really hard to break their spirit.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I would bet they're still active.
Yeah.
Any more on Death Arm's retirement or hypothetical retirements?
I'm trying to find a way to word this without sounding rude.
Sound rude. It's good for the video.
He just comes like this entire thing with him. It just comes across as so weak. I like
Yep.
you're sure he acknowledged that. Oh yeah, I'm sure everyone else, is going through this exact same thing, and he admitted that he's not cut out to be a hero. All he is a man. But dude, the world is falling apart. You signed up to be a hero. Cut the crap. Do your doggone job. Who cares about the criticism as long as you're doing what you're supposed to? Like, I guess it's better that he at least had enough self-awareness to realize that, oh, I'm not cut out for this type of deal. But it still frustrated me.
I honestly think that was the purpose behind it. That's why Horikoshi put this whole scene in here, is because someone you wouldn't think, because even Mount Lady says, or someone, I think it's Genist actually, that says something like, I'm surprised to hear that from Death Arms. Like, people you wouldn't think would be giving up are giving up. It's one thing to have some hero you don't know anything about retire, but someone like Death Arms,
Yeah.
like, now it's starting to feel a little more real. Like, hey, everyone's retiring. It's not just random people you don't know about.
And I think that's why I find it so upsetting because we do know of him and just watch him just be like, nah, I'm done. Frustrating.
Because let's be real, he's not a major character. But I
No.
wouldn't say the opposite either. I wouldn't say he's a nobody. Like, obviously, the chapter calls out the fact that he got some of the traitors during the war arc. It's not like he has nothing to his name and he retired. He's somebody that retired. I almost forgot about when he had what's that dude's name? Slide and Go, I think is his name. I love that scene whenever he had him in that headlock, like, hey, where are you going? I just had forgotten about that panel.
I agree with you, Rolly, though. I mean, I see what you mean. And I think it's going to show more and more and expose people's, like, what it is to them. They're going to have to look into themselves and see if they are strong enough and if they are really cut out to be a hero. So I feel like there will be people that it's going to wear down on them, that unless they do have that hurrah and backing of society and all the cheers and being popular, then they're gonna want to quit and retire which kind of, I mean, it exposes that's just a one more flaw within the hero society. It's like, is that why are you what are your reasons for really being a hero?
Yes, 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 yes.
Like things are the toughest right now, and if you can't handle it right now when it's at its worst, then maybe you shouldn't be in it. Because who knows,
Yeah.
it could still even get worse.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta have that resolve.
Yeah, that hit the nail on the head with me with that, because that's why I think I find it so frustrating. But it also surprises me because I wouldn't have expected Mount Lady to still be fighting. As vain as they show her to be, as opportunistic as they show her to be, she's still there, and that was shocking to me.
Because she's awesome. Mount Lady won me over in the war arc. When she clung on to Jack, I was like, I'm a fan. All
Yeah,
her vanity, everything like that. I was like, nope, she's legit.
yeah, because she like I love this side of her because normally whenever we always see her, she's always trying to find some way to get something for free just because she's beautiful and a hero. But then here she is with balls of steel and still going.
And still going. I love that panel when she like has his mouth and it says "say ah." You know what panel I'm talking about? You know
Oh
the
yeah.
panel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
Yeah.
pretty epic scene for her to just go up there. And then you got Kamui Woods that was there too, and they're still right there. Both
right
of
there.
them.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool,
They're
man.
keeping each other going. Maybe that's why Death Arms quit. He got tired of being the third wheel.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys never want to hang out with me. I'm all alone. I quit.
Man, it's definitely crazy. I think another major point that with the heroes retiring is that they pointed out is that the media is now getting closer and closer to the truth about Deku
Yeah,
because it's getting leaked through the heroes retiring. That's pretty crazy. I feel like they should, and then All For One, they're wondering why All For One hasn't exposed it yet, too. And for me, I just feel like at this point, I just feel like they should just come out with it. I feel like that's almost where it's going, that they're hinting that, all right, we just need to tell the the truth to society before it is used against us. I don't know the repercussions from it.
yeah, because he did say, if all of it got out, they would have to do everything they could to keep Deku hidden. So I think it's all about a safety issue.
But see, I guess, and it's a scan. But that panel that says the chain of negativity in our society would all be placed on Deku's shoulders, talking about if it were to get out. Why? Can y'all help me with that? Knowing the truth about One for All would place the chain of negativity in our society on Deku's shoulders.
The only way I can guess how that would come about is with uh Deku having one for all. Of course, it's going to get tied to all for one, and with the public as crazed as they are, you already know exactly who they're going to start blaming. And who they're going to start like, oh, you are the one who needs to go do this. You are the one that he wants. You know what? We just need to find a way to get you, hand him over. And I can see it like that from the public's perspective. And I think that's my theory anyway, what he means.
I definitely see that, and I think that's a layer to it. And another layer I think would be is if you take the chain, where does it start? It started with All Might and him losing One for All pretty much. So I feel like society would blame Deku that they don't have All Might anymore. And that would add to it as well, that now they're outraged that they don't have their hero that used to always be there for them. Because I mean, All Might gave up One for All to Deku.
Yeah, and they probably wouldn't know that, he was going to end up having to retire anyways. Whether he
Right.
passed on his quirk or not, he was far too damaged. And
Right.
then I could see, them wanting to blame Deku, like, oh, you took our hero, completely ignorant to what was really going on.
Exactly. So they also would need to explain that All Might was already severely damaged in a previous fight. He was gonna have to retire either way. He was looking for a replacement, and Deku was the only one that could take it.
I get the feeling that even if they did explain it, there would be so many people who just wouldn't care.
Right.
They would just still just be angry.
Yeah, society.
It's going off the rails.
They're not going to care about the why. They're just going to jump to conclusions like they always do.
Yep.
Okay, I can live with that explanation. I guess I didn't really see, but that makes sense. Society is not logical. So yeah, I could see. All right, and then getting to the end of kind of the first part of this, anything on the last page that we want to bring up or before we shift gears?
I've just been wondering, like, they even are admitting police forces and the heroes that they have aren't enough. And we've all contemplated whether or not are we going to get additional heroes? Are we going to get some from America, some outside help? I wonder if this is where and when it comes to a point to where they need, outside help. I just think it's crazy that no one else has come in. Do y'all think anyone will, or is it who we've got is who Horikoshi is going to go with?
I would hope that more do come. I would hope.
I think more will come, but not anytime in the next, like it'll be at least 10 or more chapters from now. It'll be a while.
Yeah, cool. I just hope they do. So,
Yeah, me
but
too.
for the first half, that's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not too much on the last page here before. Okay, yeah, that's all I got. I'm good.
Cool. Well, this one just closes out with Fox being like, has made contact with the second assassin. We start out the second half with a new, darker looking Deku, defeating the second assassin immediately. With an intense look in his eyes, Deku is not playing around. All Might is outside, and then Deku jumps out and is hurrying off to the next task. All Might tries to talk with Deku and try to connect with him. Deku is laser focused and sadly tells All Might that he doesn't have to follow him around anymore. With a lot on both of their minds, we can see the amount of pressure they're both under. We then have an ominous panel of Stain and the rumors going around in society about Deku next to him. The chapter closes with Deku moving forward with tattered and torn clothes and an almost beastly look to him with Black Whip furling out. I think, Kronos, you want to start out with this second part? You were saying earlier, this panel.
Yeah, this is where I want to start. Deku wrecks his face, and he immediately defeated him. Has Deku ever wrecked somebody quite this bad?
Not at this point.
Not at this point, yeah, because I was thinking no.
I thought when I first saw this, I thought the assassin was dead.
I thought so too.
I was like, damn, they're right. Deku went major evil. Like, look at those eyes, and he just he's out, but it looks like he just like cracked him in half and killed him. I was like, damn, Deku has gone dark.
Yeah, but then I realized I'm like, oh, I don't think he's dead. I don't think he's dead.
Yeah.
So his Horikoshi's point I brought up to start this whole recording, you can still see Deku's eyes there, right?
Right.
Nope. Kind of like All Might's eyes.
Yep.
So
And I wanted to jump on that when we got to this, that you are right. It's when he's using One for All and everything. It does seem like they go into a zone and his eyes are just like boom,
Intense.
very intense. I'm glad you pointed that out.
He is laser focused right now. He doesn't have time to be sitting up there playing with you.
who is you, the villain?
All the villains.
Okay, I thought you might have meant All Might.
No. Oh no. He has no time to be messing around with these villains. Give him his information. He wants to go ahead and just get done with this before anybody else gets hurt. That's how I view it.
Yeah, I see it that way. But doesn't look like you have as much time for All Might either, though.
Oh, that made me sad. I like All Might said himself that he just doesn't want to get him involved because he knows All Might can't do anything with this in terms of fighting, and doesn't want him to get hurt because after the whole thing with Nagant and almost blew him up inside of Hercules, it'd be safer if he just wasn't there, especially with how intense he is after what happened to Lady Nagant. He's like, look, this is about to get wild. You stay there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad though, just watching him just bending over that pork cutlet. It was sad.
It sucks that he's now pretty much having to leave All Might behind. He caught up to him and now he's surpassed him, and All Might just doesn't have the power. But at least All Might's there. He's still trying to feed him and still trying to almost like father, mother, parental
Yeah.
figure, trying to still just help him out as best he can. It's cute. It's endearing to see All Might still trying. It just sucks that Deku even has to tell him you don't have to follow me around anymore. And then All Might's eyes are just like, oh, like dang. And then that panel with them having that conversation and that you're next and you see All For One smiling again. I think that's just, you're right, Rolly. Like that's what's on his mind is that he's
Mhm.
next, he's the one, he needs to get this done.
Yeah.
Whenever Nana left her son, because she thought she was protecting her son. She thought it was the right thing to do. All For One's after me, just like All For One's after Deku now. This is me protecting the people I care about. Look how that turned out. Deku is making the wrong decision here. Like, I know why Deku feels the way he feels, but him leaving All Might is exactly what All For One wants to happen. Like, them not being together is a good thing for All For One. So
Mhm.
I just feel like that whole conversation I felt like was All For One's fault.
Yeah, I think it was just the entire situation. Like I said, from the fight with Nagant, her getting her face blown in, the whole entire, villain speech he gave, and then blowing up the whole place. Like I
Yep.
think that was his snapping point. But
Yeah.
it does make me think back to like before this entire arc started. And I'm gonna be paraphrasing here to where it said, not a kid anymore, no longer a child, or however it was worded. And
Hmm.
whenever it's Deku and All Might talking, it makes me think, as a parent, there's gonna hit a point to where my son won't need me anymore. That it's gonna be time for him to go off, do his own thing and let go. And that's all I thought about because honestly, All Might is Deku's father figure. Like
Right.
he has stepped into that role, and here he is, running up behind him with a lunchbox, saying, "Yo, you haven't eaten yet," and he's like, "No, Dad, I have to go handle my business." It just made me think back to how this entire arc had started with that phrase.
Yeah. That's a good callback. I think you got the chapter name. I Can't Stay a Kid Forever, I think was the chapter title. And
Okay,
that was what, 4 or 5 back? That wasn't very long ago.
yeah,
But man, seeing All Might, I mean, I know why Deku's doing what he has to be doing, but you could take the damn food, Deku. Like, jeez, All Might fell down on his face. Like, golly. Poor guy.
parent's pain, man, a parent's pain. But just watching him trip over with it, the food spills out, and he's just hunched over. God, that entire little series right there hurt my heart.
Yeah.
Then here comes Thane.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Yeah, let's go on to Stain, but obviously we're gonna come back to Deku before we're said and done, since he
Well,
closed it.
before we
Or wait,
jump to that real quick, I did just want to point out too, it's not exactly what we were thinking or imagining, but I really do feel like people will see Deku holding up his arm because we do finally have, even after the "You're Next" from All For One, we see All Might, kind of thinking out and him saying, I want you to show the world that you're here. That's
Mhm.
like his quote for the like I am here, and that's what All Might does want. And though Deku is leaving All Might behind, it's like he's spreading his wings, he's taking flight, and All Might will always be there. But Deku does need to just be able to show the world that he's there for
Yeah,
me and stand on his own. So I'm glad All Might is like thinking that too. He does want him to show the world that he's here, that Deku's there. So I'm excited for that. I think Kronos, your prediction's gonna come true now pretty soon, hopefully.
I'm almost when I stop talking about it, that's when it's gonna happen. So I've
Right.
kind of shook about it.
Yeah.
Since what I say
Right.
by 3:13, we're at 3:17 now. So I was
Yeah.
waiting. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
that whole monologue in the background, like All Might, because the panel right before that, you see them in the lunchroom when Deku doesn't know a damn thing, and then I
Mhm.
want you to show it. It basically just Fast forward to now, and Deku can't even take the lunchbox, man. Jeez.
Mhm.
Take the lunchbox, Deku. Don't be like that. You look like Bakugo out there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. We good
Yeah.
quick stain talk?
Cool. Stain popping up finally. I was wondering where he's been at.
Well, I'm assuming he was in Tartarus, got out, and just been wandering around aimlessly until he started picking up the rumors about Deku.
Do y'all think he is an assassin, or
I don't think so.
what's his intention? He's shown up. I'm just curious about what he's here to do.
I have
I
a
think
guess. Go ahead, Rolly.
no, I was just about to just guess on my own that he's here to go after Deku just to see because I am questioning if whether or not he knows that all these rumors and stuff he's hearing about, if he knows that that is, the Deku that he fought in that alleyway. And just from what he says, I've heard he's covered in scars, blood, and mud. He doesn't look anything like a hero. Is he coming back again to pass a second round of judgment?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
That makes sense.
Good guess. Yeah. The if you look at the page, the right side of the page is all Stain, and the left side of the page is exactly what Rolly just brought up. The rumors about appears without making Stain's hearing all this. And I think that's why it's positioned the way it's positioned, is it's trying to show you that, hey, Stain's hearing all these rumors that people are saying too, and he wants to find Deku. Now, does he want to do a second round of judgment? My thinking was, in the past, All Might was his guy, right? He was the only one that was worthy. Well, now All Might's retired, so in Stain's eyes, at this point in time, Deku's the guy, right? He's the
Mhm.
worthy one in Stain's eyes, so that could be some unexpected assistance that Deku could utilize. I don't think he would be out to injure Deku. He's not the nicest in
Um,
the world, but I do think he would help in some way.
I think he would eventually come to hell, but I think that once he sees Deku the first time, it's that last line for me. He doesn't look anything like a hero. I don't think there's just gonna be a calm exchanging of words and then he's gonna be an ally. I think there's probably going to be duel slash talking.
Great segue. Who is saying that Deku doesn't look like a hero? Society, right? Because Stain
Right.
has always had a different, like in my mind, Stain would look at someone and regardless of what society thought about them, like people, technically Endeavor is great by society standards, case is closed, but Stain saw through that. I feel like Stain would do the same thing here. Like it's not how you look, it's, it's what's inside. And I feel like Stain would see that. I wanted to bring this up too, and that's why I brought up the eyes as well at the beginning of the chapter. In this final panel, you do not see Deku's pupils anymore. So that would kind of imply that, yeah, he really is kind of losing it a little bit. Do you guys think he's losing it, or what? Or does he just look menacing there?
I think he just looks menacing, probably just to portray what Stain was saying. I don't think he's losing it. I just think that he has just gotten into this mode of, like I had said earlier, being laser focused on what he needs to do because he is just seeing everybody around him get hurt in the worst way possible. And the quicker he does with this, the quicker, he can start helping out society and try to, make the sun shine again because dear God, it's still raining. So that I don't think he's losing it. I don't. I just think he's laser focused on what he needs to do.
I agree with Rolly. I think mainly, really, he's just looking down. To me, he's looking down, and just keeping his head down, moving forward. Isn't gonna stop. Is how
Yeah.
I see
And honestly, the way that his clothes are set up, it's not his fault he's been involved in two explosions.
it.
See, but that's a theme, right? Like that's a theme in this show is gang work. Look at the bad guys. Look at Tamora with hands all over him and itchy looking skin. Most of the villains in the show are pretty disgusting looking and were outcasted by society. So who's the one saying Deku doesn't look like a hero here? Is it society? Because that carries no weight. But if you want to make the argument that it's Deku himself kind of losing it a little bit, I can at least see that a little more because, he's a kid at the end of the day. I think I'm with you guys. I don't think Deku, like I think he's holding on to his heart, so to speak.
Mhm.
He just looks like a badass there. Because it's anime. You gotta pull out all the cool stuff and like why is Black Whip out? Just to make Deku look cool?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what that's for, because there's no actual logical reason to just have it just piercing around you while you're just walking down the street.
Yeah.
When I first saw this panel, I really just it reminded me of Batman, honestly, and like Dark Knight. To defeat the villains, you gotta almost be not be a villain, but like be scary, be the fear. He's done being scared. He's now going to be the symbol of fear for the villains. Like, be ready. I'm coming for you. You will fear me when I show up on the scene. Kind of like
Yes,
Batman.
I am here.
Yes.
And now that the Nagant arc is over, I mean, if you look at it, it's because Deku, I mean, Nagant was right about a lot of things she said. Deku had that singular mindset of, hey, let me reach out to her, let me save her. But if he had done a little more like digging into the situation, maybe he could have preemptively found out that Nagant had a quirk from All for One and maybe prevented that whole situation from happening. So I don't know if the experience with Nagant maybe convinced Deku to back off of his textbook ways a little bit. Kind of what you're saying. Like it makes sense that it would happen now after Deku feels like, hey, I did everything right and this lady still blew up in front of my face. So
Yeah, I slightly disagree with it only because she shot first. Okay. So there was no time to do any digging about what happened. She made it clear that, hey, I'm here to take you out and you're coming with me. And honestly, all he did was defend himself. So I don't think that he's turned away from his textbooks ways because it's gotten him so far. Even with that fight with her, the whole time you can just see all of the thoughts going through his head. That fight was 'cause I'm pretty sure we said this before. That fight was inevitable. Like, he didn't actually, just go up and pick a fight with her. She shot first.
yeah, but the end, when he still refused to let her go, and he reached out his hand and grabbed her, just like All for One knew, that's the part that wasn't inevitable. That's Deku's choice.
Yeah, but that's who Deku is. Reaches out to those who's downtrodden, lost, and confused. I feel that's who he always is going to be.
I guess my point, though, is I feel like maybe from that whole arc, if you could call it an arc, uh, there's other ways to reach out to people, you know? I think that's what Nagant was trying to get across. Because didn't they say, fact check me here, but it was a chapter or two back, there was something about Nagant was going after vigilantes or something like that. Like, I feel like that mindset, like she kind of represents that mindset, where it's not necessarily textbook. I don't know. I'm probably looking too deep into that, but I think that Deku is Deku. He just, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel on this one. I don't know if he's going dark. I'm not saying going dark, but darker. I don't know. You guys are both saying no? Pure as ever, Deku?
No, I think so. It's just like we got a villain right up here. To me, Hawks did talk to Deku already about Nagant, gave him a little information, gave him a little backstory as far as what Hawks knew and her working for the Pro Hero Commission and all that. So it's not like he didn't know that she used to be a hero is the thing. But I think like it's almost like Giganto or some of these other villains who have always been a villain, he's not playing around. He's like either you are savable or you're not, and he can determine that now very quickly. And if you're not, just like with this villain or the assassin that he took out, he immediately took him out. He didn't try to save him. He didn't say, hey, let's have a chat, like what's going on, man? Like, no. Done. Like, came in and took him out. So I think Deku is getting information dependent on it and really just is able to sense, and maybe that's part of the danger sense, is that he knows, partially who this person really, if they're good or bad. But I mean, Deku even did say that the assassin doesn't even have any information. So I feel like what it is that now he's no BS. He's all about business, like Rolly said, laser focused. You're a villain, boom, I'm taking you out, on to the next. Like, I need to get to All for One.
Valid, valid. Now, my next question to you, real quickly. If Nagant never happened and Deku ran into this second assassin, would he have beaten him the same way that he beat him in this chapter? Like, do you think the experiences that Deku had from Nagant impacted the way he handled that assassin that we saw in this chapter?
So I
Like
think
you
that
said before, no BS, right? So do you think he would have
right.
tried to save this guy, or the fight would have gone on longer? What do you
I
think?
I think more of the result, like you were mentioning, with her getting blown up and the effect that did affect him. Like seeing that All for One, also everyone's a pawn in his game and will do whatever he wants, including trying to kill one of his minions. And so Deku realizes how serious this really is. And, even the people following All for One are at risk. And so I think it definitely did impact him. And I think you're right. Like that's a good point. How would he be handling the way things he is right now if that didn't happen? I honestly don't know. I will say that I think that the fight with Nagant and the way that it happened and her blowing up definitely impacted him and put even more of a fire under him.
Right. Yeah, I don't think Deku's ever bad. I just think he's a little, like in this chapter, how he just wrecked that guy. Like I don't think pre chapter 2, chapter 310 and before Deku would not have done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be wrong. I just feel like he, you know, would have tried to save him or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deku definitely looks pretty badass in that final picture.
I think he probably still would have tried to do his usual Deku-ness, because whenever he had that refight with what was his name, Muscular,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and he tried to, he already fought this dude before, and he was still trying to talk like a little small chat before the beginning. I think it was before they actually started the fight or in the middle. I can't remember. But once he determined that, oh, you're not savable, okay, let me just go ahead and just knock you out real quick. I think that's probably what would have happened if he encountered the first assassin, uh, if he got to the second assassin before he got to Nagant. There probably would have been a brief chit chat. If I determined that, okay, there's no saving you, there's nothing here. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and knock you out.
But it's like this time, all Deku needed to know was that you don't have any information I need. All right, lights out for you. It wasn't no chit chat to see if you're savable or not.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, I think that if he ran into him first, he probably would have done the usual thing. But yeah, the battle with Nagant did affect him. I don't think it turned him dark, but it just got him zoned in on what he needs to do. So I don't have the time to talk to you. We gotta deal with this.
So I hear what you're saying. You're just not saying. Is it safe to say darker?
Darker, I will agree with darker, but dark, no.
No, and I'm with you. I'm not saying dark. I'm not taking that stance. I'm just yeah. Deku looks like let's be honest. If you saw Deku walking at the street, like you're just walking down the street and you see that walking at you,
I'm running.
how you so
I am running.
he looks menacing for a reason. Horikoshi doesn't make mistakes, so it's just trying to figure out why he's doing what he's doing because it's calculated.
Yeah,
So
no, I right now society is already crumbling. To me, it's all the other heroes are the ones that need to be saving people, etc. Like if there is someone in trouble, I doubt Deku's going to be walking up on the scene like that. If it's a civilian, he's not going to be looking like this. I think this was to show how serious and how angry and ready he is to get All for One. Like it's showing it even said earlier that he's able to now use All for One at 100%. So that was I can move at 100% without sustaining any damage. So that's a huge development that he can now go to 100%, and he's using Black Whip like it's out. He's just like, oh cool, I'll even make like little arms of him or whatnot. So I feel like it's just to show how much he's developed and how serious he is and ready to go after anyone to get to All for One.
And side note, that explosion had to have been a very. It had. Look at his feet. How did his shoes blow up to the point to where they look like claws?
I noticed that. Yeah.
I have been staring at that like, how did this happen?
I mean, I
see,
still just want to know how they survived, but yeah.
but it's anime, right? Like we talked about, why would he have Black Whip activated? Why do his feet look like bear claws? Why? To me, I almost think that it's like a metaphor for, hey, if someone was walking down the street, this is how Deku would look in their eyes. Like, yeah, maybe he doesn't literally have Blackwick activated and his shoes aren't cracked in that way. But it's like that's how he's perceived. Maybe that's his angle here. Is like society doesn't feel safe from something like this. They feel scared, you know.
I
But
get that.
I'm hoping that he will show with his actions rather than how he looks, which is something that this society needs to learn anyways.
Right. Needs to learn. Well chosen words. Because they don't know it today.
No,
That
they
is the
do
one
not.
thing that they do not know.
Yeah, they do not.
But yeah, that's how I took the final panel. Is I mean, I don't think Deku literally, like if anime was a real thing, if you were there, I don't think Deku actually has Black Whip out and stuff like that. I think it's just how Aizawa's hair floats up and his scarf gets all floaty whenever his eyes go red. Like it's just there to make him look more
Yeah,
menacing.
yeah.
And that does go. I will. Final thought for me on this and for the chapter, it does go really well with the society. If that's what that bubble is, he doesn't look anything like a hero. So I think that's a great point. Like it is just a metaphor of how society is seeing Deku.
Scars, blood, and mud.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's about all I had. Was that final panel was epic as hell. I knew we
Yeah.
would talk about that panel for a while. But yeah, I'm good. I think I hit all the points I wanted to make sure and talk about. What you got,
Same.
Rolly? You got one up the sleeve?
Uh Screw society. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Okay, let's run through Q&A real quick, and then I gotta bounce. Can y'all hear me? I'm red bar.
Yeah. Can hear you.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Here we
Do
go.
we got any questions or
Rusky has one.
Oh, hey guys,
What up,
how's it
Rusky?
going?
I'm doing great. It's very late, but it's still all good. But the first of all, this chapter, I think it's one of the only few My Hero chapters that actually made me feel sad, and this chapter just it just hits different. I don't know why, because you see, uh, All Might and Naita, you always see that comparison, but here All Might, he's basically being abandoned by his student, and he doesn't know that it's for his own good, because All Might now he can't defend himself, and Deku, he's able to use One for All at 100% now. And when Deku mentioned that he could move at 100% with One for All, I I took that quite literally, as in he can move but he can't use attacks. So that's one thing I wanted to ask. So is he referring to just his attacks or just his movement capabilities? I mean, what do you think it is?
Dude, great question. I almost brought that up during the discussion. I think Deku cannot use 100% full cowling. I think that's pretty safe to say. When Deku said I can move at 100% like you can, I think he was referring, was it last week that he said he used that what did he use? Pseudo 100%?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Right. The Fajin with what was it? 45% of One for All, and there was another quirk involved. Float, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's what he's talking about. I wanted to bring that up too, so I'm glad you asked that question. So I don't think Deku can do what All Might can do in All Might's prime at this point. He's close, but yeah, the 100% thing I think was his knockoff version.
Yeah.
So basically, it's he's combining all his other quirks to mimic the effect of 100%.
Yeah, when he got to Overhaul before the bullet did, that's when he did it, and I can't remember. I know for sure it was Fajin 45%, and there's another. Do any of you guys remember what the third quirk was?
No,
But it
I'm pretty sure it was just one quirk. I mean, just two quirks, like
Just full
40%
calling.
and yeah.
It was full calling and Fajin that was able. I think that's all it took to do the pseudo 100%.
And it was called Fox as well, like I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And just a little thing that I noticed, the last panel, Deku looks absolutely incredible. But the thing there is, you see how Black Whip, it shoots off in 8 different directions. I mean, did you guys notice that?
I did to where it kind of looks like a spider.
Yeah, that I think that's actually a reference to Iron Spider from Spider-Man. So basically, it Tony Stark, he gave this mechanical suit to Spider-Man, and it looks really similar to that. And I mean, he had those spider leg thingies. So yeah, that was really interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's all I have. Yeah, and have a great day, guys. Yeah,
Thanks, man. That was good.
yeah.
My first impression was it almost looked like Tamora in the War Arc when he got up on all the spider legs. Like it looked like the beginnings of that. I know it's nothing like that, but the art style almost looked similar.
Yeah.
When Tamora went spider mode in the War Arc. I got time for one more, unless y'all want to take more. That's cool, but I got to bounce after this next question. Do we have another question? Oh, all right, last one. Do you think there was a little mini time skip that happened between after the mansion blew up to basically fast forward to Deku wrecking that assassin? How much time do you think went by between those two events? This is coming from
Excuse me. I would say, who is it coming from?
Danny Boy.
Oh, cool. Good question.
It might have been a mini time skip. Do you agree or not?
I mean, I feel like it was a day. It was 24, 48 hours. Because it seemed like everyone was already gone from it, like whatever. And then they were in the warehouse talking about it, and Deku was already on the move.
I'm with you. I say no more than 48 hours. Otherwise, I feel like it would have called it out. Like if it was a significant amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's possible.
Right.
All right. What you got, Rolly? Time skip or no?
I don't think it was a big time skip. Probably just a day or so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Right. I have one question, and I really just for y'all. When do you think we're gonna get back to UA soon?
I hope we do. This has just been too intense for me. I need some breathing room.
Next week. October.
Okay. Cool.
318.
Finally. Yeah, I need a breather too, Rolly. This has been an emotional ride, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks, y'all. Have a good one.
I gotta bounce.